225. Okay, we're gonna do a little chat and barbecue. So I just got the smoker on 225, and I'm gonna do a 3-2-1 method. 3 hours smoking, wrap. 2 hours wrapped. 1 hour opened. That's my 3-2-1 method. There's other 3-2-1 methods, but that's mine. Pit Boss rub, doctored up with some sugar, brown sugar, and some cumin. Baby back ribs. Okay, I love baby back ribs. I want to also do some talking about what's going on around this country here. I want to really address the people who might be living in inner cities. I used to be one of those people. Raised in the Bronx of New York. So I know what it's like. Just mixing it up a little bit with my finger here. Things are going to get bad. And I think there's going to be, food is going to become kind of scarce. And what is there is going to be very expensive. And typically once they raid all the stores and the stores shut down or leave the neighborhoods, the grocery stores that is, they still remain hungry. And guess what? You might be their neighbor. And let me sprinkle. So liberally coat this whole thing. So you might be their neighbor. You might, unfortunately, be their next target. If you can, in any way, shape, or possible, any way, shape, get the hell out of the cities. It's going to get really bad out there. And I know a lot of people have been saying that, but just think about it. A lot of times when you tell somebody it's going to be getting really bad, they expect it to be very much like a Hollywood movie. They go to bed one day and it's just like a typical Hollywood movie. Go to bed one day, wake up, the next morning the world's crazy. It doesn't happen like that. It happens slowly, incrementally. It happens to one person at a time, perhaps. And what I do is I just pat it down just to get it to stick. And then I flip it over. If you can't get out of the cities, folks, I hope you're locked and loaded. I hope you have a weapon. And I'm going to tell you something. What they're going to do is probably kick down your door. You got to really prepare the room that you're going to probably be in at the time. Or if you decide to, maybe you have laws in your state that require you to retreat as far as you could. My advice is, if you have those laws in your state, prep that room. Meaning, if you have to retreat to the room where you've already prepared the room, where you already hidden a gun or two. Prepare yourself. Do not brag about the amount of silver that you might have or the amount of or food that you might have. Blend in. Now a lot of people will tell you to peel back the that little, I forgot what you call it. It's a little skin. But on baby back ribs, a lot of times, like this one, when you buy them, it's already peeled back. But baby back ribs, they get so tender, you actually need that little, that layer of skin to hold the ribs together, believe it or not. I'm just going to sprinkle this on. Things are going to get bad. These people who are rioting in the streets, they're not going to be content. Their objective is not to get what they, it's not the little children or anything that they're concerned about. They're not concerned about abortion rights. Their goal is to have you shut down. Your opinions, keep them to yourself. And that's what they're there for. They want to impose fear to where you are afraid to speak your mind. They don't want you to debate. Debate is their worst tool, because they can't win an argument when you're competing against facts. So here's what I would do. But prepare your household, food, whatever you got, guns, ammo, and I'm not telling you to get all paranoid and freak out like it's going to become some kind of Hollywood movie. It's not going to be like that. But just in case it happens to you, your door gets kicked in, somebody's hungry enough to come after your food supply, you better be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Gas, frankly, a lot of people are saying gas is so expensive, it doesn't actually pay to go to work anymore. And once they make that decision, and how are they going to earn their keep? They eventually run out of food, right? And even if they're a good person, eventually, when they get hungry enough, they'll get desperate enough. Anyway, as soon as the smoker gets up to temperature, it's up to 171 degrees right now. I got it set for 2.25. Once it gets up to temperature, I'm going to throw these on, and we're going to let them smoke for about 3 hours. Again, then I'll wrap them. Put them in about 2 hours, maybe not quite 2 hours, and then unwrap them and let them smoke for another hour, which will also dry out the surface bark that I'm trying to create. That little crust, that little brown sugar sweetness, you know what I mean? Price of silver, it's going to come down before it jumps up. Cryptos might make a little move upwards, but I'm telling you, they're all going to crash significantly. They are going to control the markets to have everything crash, because they know most people, as the price is falling down, will run out and try to sell it, regardless of what the investment is. They'll run out and try to sell it before it reaches rock bottom in hopes to retain some of their profits. But I'm telling you right now, do not sell anything. A lot of people are thinking, well, you know, I'll sell it and then I can buy when it's low. Folks, we've already seen this picture before. 2017, 2018, when silver was hovering right around $15, $16 for 2-3 years, and all of a sudden, what appeared to be overnight went up to 21. Everybody was grateful, sat there for a while, but then it fell back down all the way to 14. Do you remember that? Oh, I'm going to buy once it dumps. There was nothing to buy. The people were already aware that the price was going to dump. The manipulators bought it before you could. By the time you got to those online retail stores, they were completely sold out. Some retailers said they're not going to sell their silver that low and pulled it from the shelves until the price bounced back up. I can tell you some of the local coin shops do that. They'll pull their gold and silver, and because they had purchased it themselves at a higher price, they're not going to sell it for a lower price. So if you think you're going to be able to back the boat up and buy your silver, your gold at some ridiculously low price, you got another thing coming. You might get lucky with a couple of ounces, but pretty soon, shortly after, everybody will be sold out. Mark my words. I got to run. Again, I'll show you this process along the way with these ribs. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Okay, just pulled the meat off. It's been about 3 hours. Pulled it off. I got a nice little sugary bark on there, meaning I have a nice sugary coating on there. Now we're going to wrap it up. Okay, it's really not rocket science. You can either use parchment paper or you can use aluminum foil. When you use aluminum foil, the moisture can't escape really, unless there's a hole in your aluminum foil. So basically with aluminum foil, your meat will boil within its own juices. I like using paper because the paper will soak up the moisture and then it will simultaneously dry off while cooking. So the moisture will melt off from here, get absorbed into here, and at the same time the heat from the smoker will kind of help dry it out so it really doesn't boil within its own juices. I don't want to do that. I mean, there's going to obviously be some moisture trapped within the paper, but that's the beauty of paper. A lot of it actually gets wicked. It's wicked. It gets wicked and dries simultaneously. So, got a nice piece of paper here. I'm going to try to do this without creating a big mess. Everybody has their own method. We're just going to fold in the sides, kind of make it like an envelope. This one took a long nap. I'm a little groggy. So I fold the paper to where it slightly gets narrower as I roll in. That's all there is to it. I fold the bottom in on itself, smush it down. It goes right back in the smoker. This is the top part of the rib. Bottom part. It goes right down just like so. Alright, I'll see you in about another couple hours and we'll undo this and let it smoke. 2 hours wrapped up in here, another hour once I unwrap it. Check the temperature, see what we got. 155, slowly climbing. You'll probably be seeing this upside down, so 158 now. 9, so shooting right around 160. 161, still climbing. So right around 163. Try another section. By the way, you see how the moisture wicks into the paper, and then the smoke slowly dries it. So this side is 176, 177, 78. By the way, if you ever want to know the difference between a cheap thermometer and one of those $150 ones, $150 one will instantly read the temperature. This one's a good one as it's accurate. It's just you have to be patient with it. It takes about 60 seconds for it to slowly count upwards towards the actual temperature. So right now we're shooting at 178.3. Let's try one more section right here, and then we're just going to unwrap it. So now we're shooting higher here. I guess maybe I hit a bone earlier, one of the rib bones. So right now it's showing 195. Alright, so let's unwrap this. Look at that. That is nice. That's real nice. pool of water. Most of that is just fat grease stuck to the meat. I would say the moisture is kind of wicked off and dried out, which is a good thing, which is what I wanted. Let's take a look at this. Now it's at this point where I'm going to leave it in for 1 more hour. And it's at this time, you can, if you want, throw some barbecue sauce on it. You can season it the way you want for this last hour. Normally I would just put some barbecue sauce on it and let it sit for an hour. I decided against that. I'm going to just let it sit and dry cook. Bring it on the butcher block inside, cut it up, and then serve barbecue sauce on the side. I'll see you then.